All right, Nick, let's talk about the Chicago Bears. Really tight game, but unfortunately, they don't get it done against the Minnesota Vikings. But I think they were seeing some subtle improvements on this Bears team ever since they've made some changes here, especially the offensive coordinator position. I think things are looking up for them, potentially in time for a big game this coming Thanksgiving. But before we get on to that, I'm Andrew, and this is Saturday Morning Inspection. All right, Nick, as I alluded to, the Bears, they're looking better the last two games since they've made the switch at offensive coordinator. There's multiple different list of things that could be the reason for that, but let's get into the specifics of exactly what is looking better. Then we can talk more about everything on the other side. This is over on X. It's from at Courtney R. Cronin. It says, in two games since switching offensive coordinators, Caleb Williams has posted his two lowest pressure percentages of the season and his lowest average pass times of the season. As a result, his passing efficiency has gone up. From weeks 1 to 9 to weeks 11 to 12, Williams' completion percentage has jumped from 61% to 71%. That's pretty incredible. And his yards per average has gone from 6.3 to 7.1, and average pass time has gone down from 2.9 to 2.42 seconds. I think across the board, Caleb Williams looks like he's getting a lot better and a lot of different key statistics for the passing game. Curious what your thoughts are on this one, Nick. But before we get to you, Bears fans, in the comment section below, big game, Thanksgiving Day versus the Lions. I know the Lions are a juggernaut right now. They look to be unstoppable, but I will say this. They didn't look, they didn't score 50 points last week. So I think there's a key to slowing them down. And I want to know, do you think the Bears have what it takes? Let us know what you think the final score is going to be versus the Lions on Thanksgiving Day in the comment section below. But nonetheless, Nick, what do you think about these statistics for the Bears?
Well, I think it aligns with the eye test because if you look at Williams' performance, minus a few bad sacks here or there, it's been just incredible over the last couple games, especially considering the competition. He had two really nice games against the Carolina Panthers and the Jacksonville Jaguars earlier this season. Let's be totally honest, neither of those teams are considered quality opponents. What Williams has done the past 2 weeks against playoff caliber teams in the Minnesota Vikings and Green Bay Packers, good defenses, good opponents, good coaching staffs, big games, tough environments. Williams has come out and played exceptionally well. And I think what it shows is that when this Bears team finally gets quality coaching across the board, like you mentioned, they made the change at the offensive coordinator position, but when they finally move on from Eberflus, which they probably will unless they run the table somehow the rest of the year and make a serious run at it, they're going to be a good team, right? Caleb Williams is a special talent. We knew that going into the season. We saw flashes, but the question was, could he be surrounded with the right scheme and right offensive mind to actually allow this Bears team to operate efficiently, especially considering his incredible talents? And I think going forward, they will have that. Now, look, I think they're going to get a new head coach. I think a lot of people look at Ben Johnson from Detroit as one of the top guys on the list. You have all kinds of guys. You got Slowick with Texans. You got Aaron Glenn from the Detroit Lions as well, being a name thrown around. There's a lot of guys this time of year drawing a lot of attention. But whoever it's going to be, I think it's going to be important that they use the similar kind of strategy that we've seen with the Bears the past couple of weeks. Get the ball out of Williams' hands. Treat him like a normal quarterback 90% of the time. That's the key to success. I know the comp with Williams coming out of school is Patrick Mahomes, but people forget if you watch Mahomes play, if he throws the ball 40 times in a game, 38 or 39 of those plays are quick snaps, read the defense, hit the check down, or hit the quick hitch, quick out, something like that, right? And then those one or two other plays is where he does something magical. The Bears, I think the first 9 games of the season or so, it was a lot of, hey, let's try and allow Caleb Williams to do 10 or 12 magical things a game. Nobody can do that. The past couple of weeks, we've seen a more structured offense. We've seen a better Caleb Williams. And sometimes when the opportunity is there to make magic, he gets it done like he did in the final 30 seconds against the Minnesota Vikings this past Sunday. I think this is a great sign. I think this is outstanding news for the Bears and Caleb Williams because we all know he had the skill set. Now we're seeing the efficiency come out. And if this can continue the rest of the season, which I think it will, regardless of the win-loss record, because look, Eberflus, I think he's not the guy. I think they're going to have to bring in a new head man. But it's clear to me they've got the right quarterback. They've got the right system around him. Need to improve some of the positions at the offensive line. But if they can maintain this kind of strategy with Williams, with a better offensive line, I think going forward in 2025 and beyond, this team, this Bears squad, will be a real force for a very long time.
Yeah, and again, it's undeniable Caleb Williams' game has stepped up the last 2 weeks. And I don't know if it is necessarily the cause for what I'm going to say or if it is an effect of what I'm going to say, but you have to notice that the offensive line play for the Bears has gotten better as well. They talked about Williams has been under pressure less the last 2 games as well. And that's true. Let's go through a couple offensive linemen and their stats. You look at Tevin Jenkins. This guy's been on fire, but throughout this whole season, he's been a little inconsistent. He'd post a very high grade, then he'd go score a 26 in the pass blocking game the next week. Up, down, up, down. Last 2 weeks, he's been on fire. 2 of his highest overall grades of the season and 2 highest pass blocking grades of the season, 82.6 and an 86.8 respectively. 0 sacks allowed for Tevin Jenkins the last 2 games. You go look at Darnell Wright on the other side. He's doing really good too. 2 of his highest grades overall of the season, 67.4 pass blocking grade in week 11, 77 pass blocking grade in week 12 versus Minnesota. 0 sacks allowed by Darnell Wright as well. You go over to Coleman Shelton, another guy, back-to-back weeks, doing really good. 84.5 pass blocking grade for Shelton in a 73 pass blocking grade in week 12. 0 sacks allowed for him. So I think across the board, Braxton Jones has been doing good. He did let up 1 sack in each game, but nonetheless, he had 2 really solid pass blocking grades, 67 and 81 respectively there in weeks 11 and weeks 12. I think the offensive line play has gone up. Is that a cause of, Caleb Williams getting the ball out quicker? Is that, just everyone working together? Is everything going together? I think nonetheless, though, the Bears have found something special on the offensive side of the ball. I think things are getting better, and whatever scheme this new offensive coordinator has cooking up is definitely better than what they had before. But I think you're right. I think Eberflus got to go. They've got to really do a whole revamp, overhaul of this coaching staff, get things going the right direction. So we see one small change, one small thing here, and they're already looking a lot better.
Well, it's important to understand, right, that you talk about what's different, right? Is it the quarterback play helping the O-line? Is it O-line helping quarterback play? It's all coaching, right? These players didn't magically get better or worse at football over the course of 14 days. It's all coaching. And this was the problem with Shane Waldron. This is why they made the decision. And I think going forward, their big hire in 2025 is going to be who is going to be their next offensive coordinator. I think they're going to go a different route. I think they're going to go offensive head coach. And that's going to be critical because if the coaching is solid, the Bears have the talent. We've seen it the last few weeks. I'm excited to see how they play Thursday against the Detroit Lions. That'll be a tough matchup. But I think if the Bears can nail the head coaching job right, those stats you showed in the opening there is proof that this is a team with Caleb Williams that can be one of the top contenders in the NFC North for years to come.